snap. There's the kick. It's gone. Oh my gosh. The kick is gone.
Boston Sports Nerds present Joe's Fantasy Field Goal.
What's up, boys and girls? We are back after some unfortunate electrical, well, not really electrical problems. Mother Nature struck, knocked out my power from my normal recording day, so I was unable to record a podcast for you guys last week. But we're back this week. Some more fantasy advice for you guys. I got my normal 3 things, some streamers, waiver wire wonders, and then we'll go through the games. So let's just get right into it with the streamers for this week.
Islands in the stream, that is what we are. No one in between. How can we be wrong?
Alright, so we're going to start with the defensive streamers first. So these are your defenses and special teams. These are the teams that I like this week. I just realized I didn't write down the matchups. Fuck. Well, that was a rookie mistake. I just wrote down the teams. I didn't write down who they're playing and why they are a good play this week. Alright, I got them in front of me. So, first on the list for defensive special team streamers is the Jets. They are taking on the Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers, Jameis Winston's done for a few weeks. So, Ryan Fitzpatrick is currently the starter there. He's a turnover machine. And the Jets have actually looked pretty good on defense recently. And with a turnover machine like Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback, they're a safe play and they're definitely available. I don't think anyone's constantly playing the Jets defense. Next on the list, we have the Lions. They're taking on the Browns. That is pretty self-explanatory. You should play every defense that plays the Browns because the Browns are awful. Next on the list, we have Green Bay. Now, Green Bay's defense is not very good, but they are playing Chicago. Actually, I didn't put Chicago on here, but either defense in this matchup I like because Green Bay has quarterback problems. Brett Hundley does not look that great. Chicago, on the other side, their offense is, it's okay, but it's not dangerous, so I would feel, and they have a rookie quarterback, so I feel okay playing the Packers or the Bears. I think they are both very good streaming options for this week for defenses. Next we have Pittsburgh, who is playing the Colts. Pittsburgh has the number one well, no. That is a lie. The Jaguars have the number 1 passing defense in the NFL. Pittsburgh has a top-ranked passing defense in the NFL, though. They're playing Jacoby Brissett, who, while he is playing good, is not turnover-proof. He will definitely turn the ball over. And the offensive line is bad. I'm expecting a lot of pressure on Jacoby Brissett. I'm expecting some forced throws and maybe some interceptions. I like the Steelers' defense. Next, we have the Giants defense, which is the Giants defense was so good last year, and this year they've given up 3 straight games with over 300 yards passing or some ridiculous stat. They're not that good. But they're playing the 49ers, who I still believe are playing or plan to play C.J. Beathard. If they play Jimmy G, I would be a little bit more worried about this, because I do think Jimmy G is actually a good quarterback and could play very well. But if C.J. Beathard is the quarterback there in San Fran, still I would be okay. I'm still okay playing the Giants defense against the 49ers. And last on the list is your previously ranked worst defense in the NFL, who has bounced back stupendously, and that is the New England Patriots, who might be available on your wire because a lot of people gave up on them when they were awful. But they are playing Denver after a bye week. Now, it is in Denver, but the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos is currently Brock Osweiler, who is wretched. And the only other person that they might switch to is Paxton Lynch, who is even worse. If that is possible, Paxton Lynch might be worse than Brock Osweiler. The Broncos have looked awful on offense the past 3 weeks, and I don't think they're going to figure it out anytime soon. The Pats defense looks good. Stephon Gilmore should be back. It is in Denver, but I'm not worried about it, and the Pats should be available. They are my last defensive stream for the week, and I like New England this week. So we're going to move on to quarterback streamers. Quarterback streamers, like I said, the Jets are playing the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers defense is not great. Josh McCown has looked awesome all year. He's got one of the better quarterback ratings in the NFL. He's just been lights out for a Jets team that is fucking up the tanking process like only the Jets can. But they are playing the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers defense is not great. And Josh McCown is good, so therefore Josh McCown is a streamer for this week, and he should be available in almost every league, barring 2 quarterback leagues. Next on the list, we have Tyrod Taylor, who has been great the past couple weeks. He has another good matchup against the Saints defense in Buffalo. I really like this matchup. I've been playing Tyrod Taylor, I think, the past 2 weeks, and I'm going to roll him into next week too. He's just had a really good schedule lately, and he's been playing very good. Next on the list, we have Andy Dalton taking on the Titans defense. Dalton might be out there because he's been very up and down. He had a good week last week, I think. And did he just have a... No, he had a good week last week. He should be available. He might be like a 60% owned guy. But I like Dalton. He has a really good matchup against a very bad Titans defense. And I think he'll take advantage of it. AJ Green didn't get suspended, which is amazing to me because Mike Evans got suspended and AJ Green didn't. But besides the fact, Andy Dalton is a good play against a bad Titans defense, and I think he will be able to. The Titans have a bad pass rush. They didn't look good. They made Flacco and the Ravens look good, and they have a much worse offense than Cincinnati does. So I really like Dalton versus Titans. Next on the list is Case Keenum, who is playing the Redskins defense. Another defense that's not great. Case Keenum has shown he can get it done. They are in Washington, which... whatever. Who gives a fuck? Washington's defense isn't good. I like Case Keenum, even on the road in Washington. All that being said, I think there are better options on this list. I actually think the other 3 people I just named, McCown, Tyrod Taylor, and Dalton, are better starts than Case Keenum. But if they all happen to be owned, Case Keenum is the only one on the waiver wire. I would have no problem playing him. Next on the list, we have Jared Goff, who is taking on the Texans defense, who is not the vaunted Texans defense that you normally have. They are not good against the pass. They've lost a lot of their best defensive players. That secondary is not what it was last year. So I like the Rams, and I mean, we're talking Jared Goff is the quarterback for the number 1 offense in the NFL this year. They seem very, very good. That dude, McVay, he has completely turned that team around. Speaks volume about how bad of a coach Jeff Fisher is, but that's besides the point. The quarterback for the number 1 scoring offense against a defense that has been underperforming all year, and the Rams are at home. That's a great matchup with Goff. He actually might not be available because he's been playing well and people have been picking him up. But if he is available, I do like him as a starter more than Keenum and probably more than Dalton. And last on the list, we have Eli Manning versus the 49ers. The 49ers are just straight terrible at playing defense. And that's really all it is. I know Eli's bad. I know the Giants are bad, but the 49ers I think are worse. This is going to be a fucking bottom of the barrel game. And I think Eli while the Giants are bad, Eli is still a decent quarterback, and a decent quarterback should be able to abuse that San Francisco defense. So I like Eli this week. And that is it for my streamers. We are going to move on to some waiver wire wonders right now.
And I wonder if you know the wonder of it all.
All right. And we're back with some waiver wire wonders for you guys. First on the list, I don't know if you know this, but Jay Ajayi got traded the fuck away. That happened while we didn't have a show last week, but he got traded the fuck away. He is now a Philadelphia Eagle. That is great for you Jay Ajayi owners. I think his stock is going to go through the roof. He's going to perform much better for the Eagles. They have a better offensive line, and he will be used. He was used great this week, and his usage should go up as the season goes on. It was a great move for Philly. They're trying to win now. It's a smart move. But what does that leave in wake in Miami? That leaves Damian Williams and Kenyon Drake. One of those two guys should be on your waiver wire unless you're in a really good league and they've both been picked up. But in one of my leagues I just looked, Damian Williams is still available. I picked up Kenyon Drake in a lot of them. I like Kenyon Drake more, but I think Damian Williams, as of right now, is the lead back. I just don't think he's that good of a running back. I think Kenyon Drake is much better. So I went with Kenyon Drake thinking he will eventually take the job, but they will both get usage. It's going to be a split carry thing. Neither one of them is going to be the bell cow, but they are both let's try this again. They are both worth owning because they are going to get touches. I would imagine they both get at least 15 to 20 touches a game. Between rushes and receptions. So I like them, and they're both under 50% owned. Cooper Kupp is next on the list, still not 50% owned. I think he's right on the cusp, like 49.9. He is the number one receiver for the number one offense in the NFL. Granted, the main reason they're the number one offense in the NFL is because of Todd Gurley, but he's still worth a roster spot. Unless you're fucking stacked at receiver, Cooper Kupp is probably better than half the receivers you have on your team. And he's worth having. Next on the list is Josh Doxson, still not 50% owned. He seems to be coming into his own in Washington. He's kind of taken Terrell Pryor's role completely away from him. He was drafted highly. He was a first round pick. He was drafted to be an elite receiver there. And he's finally starting, after some injuries early in his career, he's finally starting to show out a little bit. And I think his role is going to grow as the season goes. So hop on the Josh Doxson train now, especially if you have, one or two guys on your roster that are kind of on the bubble, whether you want to keep them or not. I like the upside of Josh Doxson for the rest of the year. Speaking of a guy whose upside I like for the rest of the year, Corey Davis should be coming back from injury soon. He had a lot of targets in his first, and the only time he's shown up for the Titans before he got hurt. He had a good amount of usage. Another guy who was drafted very highly in the first round to be an elite receiver and has been injured, and he's coming back from his injury. I would expect his usage to go up. So if you have a guy who's on the bubble on your roster and you don't really know about him, go out and get Corey Davis because of his upside. And then the last two guys on here, one is a guy who I like now that a trade has gone through, and one is a guy who is coming back from the IR who should be targeted and picked up in every league because he will have a usage, and that is Danny Woodhead. Danny Woodhead went on the IR very early. He's been cut in a lot of leagues because a lot of people either don't have an IR slot or they've had too many injuries where, they can't hold on to Danny Woodhead for that long. Because he's been on the IR and he's available in a lot of leagues, he's worth a pickup because all that stuff. Buck Allen's been a top 15 running back. That's Danny Woodhead's role. So if Danny Woodhead is available, essentially you get a top 15 running back. And if you're in a PPR, I think you get a better running back than that for the rest of the year. I mean, I don't think he's going to finish. He's obviously not going to finish in the top 15. But from when he starts playing again till end of season, I mean, a safe floor is at least a top 25 running back because he's going to have that usage. And the Ravens do not like Buck Allen. They're only using him out of necessity right now. If they could, they would absolutely fucking cut Buck Allen and play Danny Woodhead. He's a better running back. And is really good at catching the ball. They need some weapons there. He's coming back from the IR. He should, hit them with like a good jolt offensively, hopefully. Get that fucking offense going. But I like Danny Woodhead, and he should be available. And I mean, you're getting a guy who was drafted, in the mid rounds. You're gonna get him for free off the waiver wire, because he's been hurt all year. But he's gonna be coming back, and he's still a guy that is consistently producing for fantasy football. So I like Danny Woodhead coming back, and now is the week to grab him because he should be back any time now. And the last person on my list is Marquise Goodwin. A perfect storm of factors has happened in San Francisco that could make Marquise Goodwin very intriguing for the rest of the year. So this is kind of, if you have a spot that's open on your roster, snatch him up. If not, maybe wait and see. Pierre Garçon goes down. He's on the IR. He's done for the rest of the year. He's got a hurt neck. So Marquise Goodwin, automatically, you would think his touches go up because those targets for Pierre Garçon have to go somewhere. Marquise Goodwin has flash as a big play guy, so his targets go up a little. And then San Francisco trades for Jimmy Garoppolo, who in my opinion is a much better quarterback than any quarterback they have on the roster currently. If Jimmy Garoppolo starts to get playing time, I expect Marquise Goodwin to be flex-worthy. Because I think the offense will improve, especially the passing offense, and I still think he's the best receiver on that squad now that Pierre Garçon is out. So I really like Marquise Goodwin, but I don't know if you have to pick him up yet because I don't know when they're going to start playing Jimmy Garoppolo. So he's kind of a wait and see, or if you can afford to lose a roster spot for a couple weeks, Marquise Goodwin is a good grab and stash, but I think he will be roster worthy very shortly once Jimmy Garoppolo takes that spot as the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers. So Marquise Goodwin is my last one. Kind of a pickup, kind of not really, more of a watch and see what happens, but he could be a guy you want to target later. But that's it for Waiver Wire Wonders. We are going to move on to the weekly matchups.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance. I know there's a lot riding on it, but it's all psychological. Just got to stay in a positive frame of mind.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountains? Yeah, if Coach would have put me in fourth quarter, we'd have been state champions, no doubt.
All right, and we are back with the weekly matchups. The start sit. That's what it's called. See all that time off, and I forgot what my fucking segment was called. We're back with your start sit for this week. First on the list, we have Thursday night, the Seahawks at the Cardinals. Obviously, I like the Seahawks in this game. The Cardinals with Drew Stanton, I would not play any Cardinals. I really wouldn't. Drew Stanton doesn't strike fear into anyone, and the Seattle defense is really good. I would not play a single Arizona Cardinal in this game. For the Seahawks, you're playing Russell Wilson. Stay away from the running backs. You play Doug Baldwin. You could probably flex. I would definitely flex Tyler Lockett or Paul Richardson because the second corner for Arizona is not good. I don't know if I play Doug Baldwin actually because he's probably going to be stuck with Patrick Peterson. But he is your stud probably if you drafted him, or at least your wide receiver 2. It's a tough play for Doug Baldwin. I'd probably still play him. Jimmy Graham I would play. I'd probably play most of my Seahawks except for the running backs, to be honest with you. Next on the list, we have the Jets at the Buccaneers on Sunday, 1 o'clock. I'm playing my Jets. Austin Seferian-Jenkins has let me down the past couple weeks, but I'm sticking with him. McCown is a streamable option. Matt Forte is coming off a big game, so I'd probably play him or Bilal Powell. Robbie Anderson seems to have come out as a fucking breakout guy. So, A, he should be a waiver wire guy if he's still available. And B, you should flex Robbie Anderson if you have him. I like the Jets offense. I would play most of them. For the Buccaneers, with Ryan Fitzpatrick, Mike Evans is suspended for the game, which is fucking bullshit. But he is. I can't believe AJ Green didn't get suspended, like I said before. So Mike Evans is gone. The Jets' defense isn't great. So I might flex Deshaun Jackson. I'm playing Doug Martin. I'm playing Cameron Brate. And that's probably it. Out of those three. Deshaun Jackson, Doug Martin, Cameron Brate is probably all I would play for the Buccaneers. Alright, we'll just move on to the next one. Saints at the Bills. This is a 1 o'clock game. For the Saints, I'm not afraid of anything for the Saints, slowing down the Saints offense. Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram seem to be on another level right now. I'm playing both of them. I'd fire up Drew Brees. I know it's an away game, but he seems to be playing fine this year. So I'd fire up Drew Brees. Obviously, you play Michael Thomas. I don't know who the second receiver worth playing is for New Orleans. But you have to play Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram if you have them. They have both been on just absolute tears. Drew Brees and Michael Thomas, maybe flex Ted Ginn. For the Bills, I'm playing Tyrod Taylor. Obviously, you play LaShawn McCoy. Is it Nick O'Leary, I think, is the tight end that's filled in for Charles Clay. He's probably worth a stream if you need a tight end play. You play Kelvin Benjamin, maybe? I don't know. He is new to the team. Obviously, if you guys have been paying attention to the trade deadline, the Bills went and acquired Kelvin Benjamin from Carolina. I don't know if you play him. Fuck it. I might flex him. Someone's got to catch the ball in Buffalo. Someone. So that's probably it. Kelvin, O'Leary as like a stream kind of tight end if you need someone to fill in. Definitely LaShawn McCoy, and I would definitely play Tyrod Taylor if you need a streaming quarterback. Next we have the Lions at the Browns. The Browns at this point, I mean, you play Duke Johnson and maybe Isaiah Crowell, and that's it. Like, who the fuck knows what's going on with the Browns offense now? The only two that you know are going to get touches are Duke Johnson and Isaiah Crowell. And I don't even feel great about starting Isaiah Crowell, but if you need to in a pinch with bye weeks and shit, I would play him. Other than that, those two, I would not play anyone else on the Browns. For the Lions, you play Golden Tate, you play Matt Stafford. You might play Marvin Jones. I would definitely play Amir Abdullah. And I might even flex Theo Riddick. And that's probably it for the Lions. Maybe Kenny Golladay if he's 100% back for the Lions. Kenny Golladay would be a good play versus the Browns too as a flex. You have the Bengals at the Titans next at 1 o'clock game. I'm playing AJ Green. I'm playing Andy Dalton as a stream. I'm playing Joe Mixon. And I'm playing Tyler Kroft for the Bengals. For the Titans, I am getting so sick of DeMarco Murray, but you got to keep playing him, I guess. If he's healthy, if DeMarco Murray's going to play, you have to play DeMarco Murray. Because when you sit him, then he fucking goes off. He's the most annoying. I would play DeMarco Murray, Rashard Matthews. And I don't like this matchup for the Titans. I really don't. The Bengals defense is better than what people think. I would play DeMarco Murray, Rashard Matthews. I would be okay playing Marcus Mariota, but I think I'd probably rather stream someone else. And maybe flex Corey Davis, but you probably want to wait a week to see what he does if he's back and healthy. Yeah, probably very limited Titans I would play. Next, we have the Packers at the Bears. I'm firing up Aaron Jones. And Jordy. Obviously, you play Jordy. Devonta Adams. Sorry. That's probably it. Aaron Jones, Devonta Adams, and Jordy Nelson for the Packers. For the Bears, you're playing both. Are you playing Tariq Cohen at this point? It's a good matchup against the Packers. I'd probably still play Tariq Cohen, at least as a flex. You're definitely playing Jordan Howard. Well, that's probably it, because you don't know what the receivers are, and you're not going to play Mitch Trubisky. There are better streaming options. So I like Jordan. Jordan Howard's going to get like fucking 50 touches this game between him and Tariq Cohen. So I would probably play either Tariq Cohen or Jordan Howard, and that's it for the Bears. The Packers defense isn't great, especially not against the run. The Jordan Howard is going to be, he might be the best running back to play next week or this week in fantasy football. Because he's gonna get so many touches. The Bears defense will keep them in that game, and then they're just gonna run the fucking ball down Green Bay's throat. It's in Chicago. Yeah, Jordan Howard might be my running back one next week. Next game is Chargers at the Jags. I don't like Phillip Rivers this game. I think he's gonna throw a lot of interceptions. I would not play Phillip Rivers. I would play Melvin Gordon. You have to play Melvin Gordon. I would play Keenan Allen. I actually think this is going to be a blowout for the Jags. The Jags are going to beat the pants off the Chargers, which means that the Chargers are going to have to throw. So, Hunter Henry. I would play Hunter Henry. I would play Keenan Allen. I would play... I think those are the only two receiving options you can really trust that they're going to have a good game. Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry. And I would play Melvin Gordon. And I don't think I would feel comfortable playing Philip Rivers. I would rather stream one of these other quarterbacks. For the Jaguars, obviously, you play Leonard Fournette as long as he doesn't violate any team rules and can't play again. He's locked and loaded as a go. I would play the wide receiver there, whose name I can't think of right now. Whatever Jaguars wide receiver you have, if you have him, play him as long as it's not Allen Robinson. I can't think of their names right now. Marquise Lee? I would play Marquise Lee. Leonard Fournette. I think Bortles will be alright. I mean, there are better streaming options, so I wouldn't play Blake Bortles if you don't have to, but I think he'll be okay. The Chargers defense seems up and down, but I think they'll be alright. And that's probably it. Leonard Fournette's going to have a really good game this week. It's going to be the same thing I said about the Bears, where the defense is going to keep them in the game. They're going to give Howard the ball like 70 times. The same thing with the Jaguars. The defense is going to keep them in the game, and they're going to give Fournette the ball 9 million times. And they're going to blow through the fucking Chargers' face. Vikings at the Redskins. This is Sunday, 1 p.m. I like, for the Vikings, you have to keep playing Jerick McKinnon. Like I said, Case Keenum is on my streamers list. I'd feel alright with him. I would keep playing Adam Thielen. I would play Stephon Diggs if he's healthy. Maybe Kyle Rudolph. For the Redskins, you play Chris Thompson. I would flex Josh Doxson. Oh, the Vikings defense is fucking good. I would play Kirk Cousins if I had him, though. That being said, don't flex Josh Doxson. The thing with the Redskins pass catchers is you don't know who's going to be this week. Kirk Cousins spreads the ball around so much that not a lot of them aren't very fantasy viable. Like, obviously you play Jordan Reed. If you have Jordan Reed, you play Jordan Reed. If he's healthy, if he's playing, you play him. So you play Jordan Reed. I would be alright playing Kirk Cousins. You play Chris Thompson. I might play Rob Kelly, at least as a flex. That's probably it. I don't know, outside of those guys, I don't know who to trust as a wide receiver that I would really feel confident playing when there's other matchups. Remember what I said last show about the yawns? It's like, every time I start recording a podcast, I sit down in this chair, I get tired. It's so fucking weird. Next game, we have the Steelers at the Colts. This is going to be a rout, I think. The Steelers are going to walk away with this one easy. Obviously, you play Lev Bell. I'd feel okay playing Big Ben. You play Antonio Brown. I would play Juju, at least as a flex. And that's probably it. For the Colts, I would play Frank Gore. I'm not playing Jacoby Brissett. There's better streamers. You still play T.Y. Hilton. You don't know when the fuck T.Y. Hilton is just going to go the fuck off. So I would play T.Y. Hilton and Frank Gore. And Jack Doyle. He's the number one receiver for the Colts. I would play Jack Doyle, T.Y. Hilton, Frank Gore, maybe Marlon Mack. Probably not Marlon Mack. But definitely those three. Next on the list is the Texans at the Rams. I'm playing any Rams-worthy fantasy players that you have. Obviously, Goff is one of my streams. Obviously, you play Todd Gurley. I would play Cooper Kupp as a flex. I would feel fine playing Cooper Kupp at least as a flex. Maybe even Sammy Watkins. He did have a big catch last week. Decent game last week. For the Texans, you have Tom Savage at quarterback again. What does that mean for the Texans? I would play Lamar Miller. I would play Nuke Hopkins. I think Will Fuller's done being relevant in fantasy now that Watson's hurt. Obviously, I'm not playing Tom Savage. So I think you really only play Lamar Miller and Nuke Hopkins for the Texans, probably for the rest of the year, to be honest with you. Next game is the Giants at the 49ers. This is a 425 game. I like the Giants' offense this game. I think Orleans Darkwa is a dark horse to play. He is flex-worthy if you have him on your roster. I would have no problem playing him at all. The 49ers run defense is that bad, and he seems to be running pretty well. So I actually like Orleans Darkwa this week. Play him if you have him. Evan Ingram is a must-start for the rest of the year, I think. He's in my opinion, he's the number one wide receiver there. Same with Sterling Shepard is a must-start because he's actually if you're going to go by position, he's the actual number one wide receiver there. And I wouldn't mind playing Eli Manning this week. For the 49ers, you're probably only playing Carlos Hyde. And that's it. Maybe Matt Breida if you have him, but I think he's hurt, to be honest with you. And Carlos Hyde, it's probably all I'm playing. I don't think Marquise Goodwin matters yet. That's just Carlos Hyde. Just play Carlos Hyde, that's it, for the 49ers. Next on the list, Cowboys at the Falcons. This is a 425 game. I'm playing Zeke if he's playing. This is the Zeke rule. If he's in the game, he's playing. I like Dak for this week. Dez is a good start. Jason Witten, I guess, if you need a tight end stream. For the Falcons, I would play, obviously, Devonta Freeman. I would feel fine playing Matt Ryan. Cowboys secondary isn't that great. Obviously, you play Julio Jones, Devonta Freeman, and Tevin Coleman. If they're both healthy, you play them. Mohamed Sanu would be an okay play. That's probably all of the Falcons. Next, we have the Patriots at the Broncos. This is a weird game because the Patriots are historically not that great against Denver in Denver. In Foxborough, completely different story. But in Denver, typically the offense is not that good. And they have no Chris Hogan. That being said, I'm still playing Tom Brady, obviously. I'm still playing Gronk, obviously. I'm still playing Brandon Cooks. I'm still playing James White. And I would flex Dion Lewis or Rex Burkhead. For the Broncos, I would play C.J. Anderson, Demaryius Thomas, and Emmanuel Sanders if he's healthy. I don't think he's back yet. That's it. I don't think the Broncos are actually going to have a very good game. I would probably only feel those are the only two receivers I would feel comfortable playing. But I don't think the Denver offense is going to be that good. And definitely don't play Brock Osweiler as your quarterback. And last on the list, the Monday game, we have the Dolphins at the Panthers. Jay Cutler coming off a 300-yard game. I think he could do it again. I think this offense actually benefits from trading away J.J. I talked about this on the B.S. Nerds, where they don't feel locked into having to give their running back, 20-plus touches a game if they don't have a bell cow running back on the roster. I like Jay Cutler in this game. Well, don't play Jay Cutler. There's better streamers. But play Devontae Parker. Play Jarvis Landry. I don't think Kenny Stills is as good without Matt Moore there. So I wouldn't play Kenny Stills. I would play Devontae Parker and Jarvis Landry. And whatever running back you have out of the two, Damian Williams or Kenyon Drake, either one of them is flex-worthy if necessary. I think they could get it done. I like Kenyon Drake a little more than Damian Williams. But that's just me. But I think either one is flex-worthy if you need a flex. For the Panthers, Dolphins defense isn't great. You're playing Christian McCaffrey. I would be okay playing Cam Newton, I feel like. Devin Funchess is now the lead wide receiver there, I'm guessing. And who else do you play? Who else are they using? Curtis Samuel? No, I would play Devin Funchess, Christian McCaffrey. I would play Cam Newton if you have him, or you can stream him. It's up to you. That's your confidence level. I would be perfectly fine playing him against the Dolphins defense. And probably Jonathan Stewart if you needed a running back. But that's it. I don't know who the other wide receiver option is there. But that's it. That's the Monday game. That's it for my start sits. That's it for Waiver Wire Wonders. That's it for QB streams and defensive streams. That's it for this week. We're back. Joe's Fantasy Field Goal. You can catch me on the B.S. Nerds podcast coming out every Friday. You got the Boxy Boys on Tuesdays. Wednesdays. You got the Boxy Boys on Wednesdays. You got the BS Nerds on Fridays. You got Aaron just got put out of WECP. You're listening to me right now. This is on Tuesday. You got Dave Speaks over there and 4-Star Sports Bar Reviews over here. They're coming out on Sundays and Mondays, alternate this and that. Tune in, stay tuned, all forever. Subscribe to the BS Network, the B.S.N Network. Rate, review, subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever you listen to your podcasts. Subscribe to the network so you can get all of this awesome content and have fun playing fantasy this week. Listen to my advice. Go win. Move up those standings. Take your championship in the name of Joe's Fantasy Field Goal. Have fun. I'm out.